Good morning, friends. Mm, So, in the last lecture, we have seen some of the theorems in our integral equation paper. The next one we will see, actually, we are not going to see the proof for this theorem. No doubt it is for your syllabus, but I am not going to take the proof for this. The name of Hilbert-Smith theorem. Okay. Let me share you the screen for that. What is the proof for this? I think everyone doing the study of the internal exams. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey. Anyone else? बाकी से हाँ?
Ma'am,
Let me share the proof for that because after seeing the proof, I don't think so. You will say that this proof should be taken. It is near about 6 pages for that statement. The proof for that is. Is the screen visible?
yes, ma'am.
Actually, the in the PDF it is not there the proof for that. I will share you later on. Those who want to study can study by their own, because the proof for that is near about 6 pages, and I don't think so in the MCQ examination. That means now if you are going to appear for MCQ examination, I hope you are not going to prepare for that. Correct ना? theory असले तरी पण 6 पेज 6 पानाचं प्रूफ आपण प्रिपेअर करत नाही ना.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, simply I will go with the method that with the help of that we'll see how to solve the examples. Actually, the Hilbert-Smith theorem, the statement is near about 1 page, and the proof for this is near about 6 pages that I have written. Depending on your writing and all, it may be near about 5 pages and all. Okay. So, what we will do, we'll take only the method. That means how to solve the example by using Hilbert-Smith theorem. Okay. So for that, let me go directly to the cases where in that cases we'll see how to solve the example if we have to solve the example by using the Hilbert-Smith theorem. Okay. Let me write down the equation first. Here, what is the statement for this? Is function f of x can be written as we are provided with function f of x is equals to integration a to b k of x t h of t dt, and we are provided that k of x t is a symmetric kernel. Okay, symmetric kernel, and a function f of x is of the form, and a function f of x is of the form summation fn phi of n, and on the condition we are provided fn is equal to some hn upon lambda n. And what is the value of hn is, it is calculated by using inner product of h with phi n, and whatever the terms we have lambda n, this is nothing but the eigenvalue. Okay. So now we are provided with the equation in which we have the symmetric kernel. Okay. So how to solve the examples in which we have the kernel is a symmetric kernel. So let me write down the solution for this equation. The solution by using our Hilbert-Smith theorem, we can write the solution as y of x is equals to f of x plus lambda integration a to b r of x t lambda f of t dt. Okay. Now in that case, we have the value of r of x t lambda is nothing but summation over m phi m of t into phi m of x divided by lambda m minus lambda. Okay. So these are the terms provided to us. We have a one integral equation. We have to solve that integral equation. In that we are provided the kernel is a symmetric kernel, and if you want to solve it by using the Hilbert-Smith theorem, then what is the solution? Y of x is equals to f of x plus lambda integration r of x t lambda. What is the value of r of x t lambda? Is summation over m f phi m of t and phi m of x divided by lambda m minus lambda. In that we have the cases. Okay, what are the cases? The first one is the unique solution. How to get a unique solution, or what will be the condition if when we get a unique solution. Okay, so in that we have the first one is lambda is not equal to lambda m. If suppose lambda is equal to lambda m, what will be the result? 1 upon 1 upon 0 will tends to infinity. So here what is a condition? Lambda should not be equal to lambda m. Next one, the next condition is no solution. Okay, when we get the condition that we don't have any solution, lambda is equal to lambda m. What will happen if lambda is equal to lambda m? So here this term, in this term we have 1 upon lambda equal lambda m minus lambda. In is equals to lambda, then 1 upon 0 that will be infinity, that is not defined. Okay, which we can say that we don't have a solution. Next, that is third case. In the third case, we may have a infinitely many solution. Okay. In case of infinitely many solution, we can have lambda is equals to lambda k. That means lambda is equal to lambda k for kth eigenvalue. Okay. So how many eigenvalues we may have? We may have n number of or m number of eigenvalues. For at least one eigenvalue, lambda is equals to lambda k. Okay. And also we have fk equals to 0 and integration a to b f of x phi k of x equal to 0, right? So if this condition holds, then we say that it have infinitely many solution. Okay, while solving the example you will come to know that what is fk and all, right? uh, so let me go for the example by using these condition. First, whatever the Hilbert-Smith theorem that we are going to see, we will see by using these condition. And after getting this type of a solution, we have to verify in which condition we get the solution. Rather, it will be a unique solution, no solution, or infinitely many solution. Okay. So let us go for the examples. I think you should also write with me what are the examples and how to solve the example by using the Hilbert-Smith theorem. Take the first example, solve the symmetric integral equation. Solve the symmetric integral equation. What do you mean by symmetric integral equation? The integral equation in which the kernel k of xt is a symmetric kernel. Okay. So we are provided with one equation 1 plus x square plus integration minus 1 to 1 xt plus x square t square y of t dt. Okay, so this is what an equation provided to us. In the exam, if suppose you want to appear, if you are going to appear for the physical exam, the question may be like this: solve the symmetric integral equation by Hilbert-Smith theorem. So you have to solve at that time by that method only. But if you come to know this example, we have already solved by using our Redal integral equation condition. Okay, let's solve a example. First, we have solved it by y of x is equals to lambda integration a to b a of xt y of t dt. And for this, we have found the solution. Rather, it may be unique solution, zero solution, and all. Oh, sorry, it may be having a zero solution. And the second case, we have solved by y of x is equals to f of x plus the same term, right? आठवते का सगळ्यांना सेकंड चॅप्टर फर्स्ट मेथड इज दिस वन सेकंड मेथड इज दिस वन
Yes, ma'am.
Redall integral equation by using in the condition of homogeneous and in the non-homogeneous condition. So if in the exam the question is like this, solve the integral equation, you can solve it by this method or you can solve it by Hilbert-Smith method. Okay, Hilbert-Smith method is somewhat difficult, or rather it is somewhat complicated to solve. So if the question is like this, solve by Hilbert-Smith, then only you can solve by that. Or if the question is simply solve, you can choose any of this, right? So let me go for the method. Comparing with the standard form, first we have to write down what is your f of x. F of x is 1 plus x bracket is square, correct? As it is a non-homogeneous case. Next, what is given to us? Lambda. Value of lambda is nothing but 1. Now here, the value of a lambda is 1. What is the condition? We will determine the eigenvalues and corresponding to normalized eigenfunction of the equation. Okay. The equation provided to us is y of x is equals to lambda integration minus 1 to 1 xt plus x square t square y of t dt. Okay. Now I hope you are remembering these type of equations. Suppose we have these type of equation you have already solved, right? For solving these type of equation, what we do first, we will find out the what is a CF. How to find out a CF? First, we'll equate this to 0, and what we call for this step auxiliary equation, na? The helping
Yes,
equation,
ma'am.
right? So in the very similar way, here we have to first find out the CF and then PI. Okay, in this method. Here also what we do, first we will find out the solution for homogeneous. That means we are not going to consider this part. Okay, we are not going to consider this part, and later on in this cases, and then after finding the solution for the homogeneous part, then we will go for the non-homogeneous. Okay, so for that first we have written this. Now here whatever the lambda you are able to see, this value of a lambda here given to us is 1. But in the solution you have seen here, the condition we have to verify whether lambda is equal to lambda m or whether it is not equal and so on. Okay. So here the lambda is given to us. So, and this lambda m is a lambda m which we are going to find out. Okay. We have to find out the eigenfunctions. Okay. So that's why we have written this lambda, so that we can find out the value of lambda 1, lambda 2 and so on up to lambda m to verify the conditions. Okay. So now let us go for solving this equation. So this is what our homogeneous equation. Simply we have removed the value of f of x. Okay. So let us now write down f of x is equals to lambda integration minus 1 to 1 xt y of t dt plus lambda integration minus 1 to 1 x square t square y of t dt. Okay. So this equation we can write it as lambda x integration minus 1 to 1 ey of t dt plus lambda x square integration minus 1 to 1 t square y of t dt. Okay. The same method that we have done for Fredol non-homogeneous case, Fredol integral equation in non-homogeneous case, and we have solved it using the symmetric kernel. Whatever the method we have done initially, we have to follow the same procedure. Y of x is equals to, what is the condition? Lambda x, the value of this term we can keep it as c1 plus lambda x square. This is what our c2. Okay, the value of this integration is c2. Let me name it as some equation number 2. The given equation will name it as equation 1. Okay, now what is the equation in terms of t? It will be y of t is equals to lambda t c1 plus lambda t square c2. So what is the value of a c1? c1 is equals to integration minus 1 to 1 ey of t dt. Correct? Now let us find out the value of this integration by putting value of y of t as lambda t c1 plus lambda t square c2. Okay. So here we get c1 is equals to lambda c1 will be outside integration of t square plus lambda c2 outside integration of t square into t, that will be t cube, and hence we get it as c1 lambda c1, it will be t cube upon 3 plus next term is lambda c2, the next is t raised to 4 upon 4. Okay. Now we have to just substitute the upper and lower limit. So here it is within the limit -1 to 1. Let us now find out C1 is equals to lambda C1 1 minus t cube, it will be plus 1 minus minus plus lambda C2 1 minus 1, that will be 0. So this whole term will be 0. Okay. So here we get C1 is equals to lambda C1 2 by 3. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What will be the value of a C1 from this case? If I take C1 outside, it will be 1 minus 2 lambda upon 3. Okay, 1 minus 2 lambda upon 3 equal to 0. Now product of these two is equal to 0. Then there are cases either C1 is 0 or this 1 minus 2 lambda upon 3 equal to 0. Okay. Now if I consider C1 equal to 0, we get a trivial solution. And if we consider C1 equal to 0, this will not be equal to 0. And if we consider this equal to 0, C1 is non-zero. Right? There are two cases. You can say this is either C1 is 0 or this term is 0. In the case if C1 is not C1 equal to 0, at that time 1 minus 2 lambda upon 3 will not be equal to 0. And the next case here it will be C1 not equal to 0. What is the value of this term? If 1 minus 2 lambda upon 3 equal to 0, it means that 1 is equals to 2 lambda upon 3, which means lambda is equals to 3 by 2. So in this case we get the first eigenvalue. So we can say it is a lambda 1. Okay. So here we get lambda 1 is equals to 3 by 2. Okay. Similarly, we can solve for C2. Okay. What is our equation C2? C2 is nothing but the integration -1 to 1 t square y of t dt. C2 is equals to integration -1 to 1 t square y of t dt. So which is equal to integration -1 to 1 t square. Value of our y of t is lambda t c1 plus lambda t square c2. Lambda t c1 plus lambda t square c2 dt, which is equal to lambda c1 t raised t cube upon so it is t cube. So what is integration? T raised to 4 upon 4 plus lambda c2 outside integration of t raised to 4, it will be t raised to 5 upon 5. Again we have to solve it within the limit -1 to 1. I hope you are also solving with me. So here if it is -1 to 1, so here it will be 1 minus 1, so this term will be 0. So we remain with lambda c2 e raised to 5, that will be 2 upon 5. So hence we get c2, if it is outside, 1 minus 2 lambda upon 5 equal to 0. So in this way again we have the two cases, either c2 is 0 or 1 minus 2 lambda upon 5 will be equal to 0. And here 1 minus 2 lambda upon 5 not equal to 0, and here it will be C2 not equal to 0. What will happen if this condition holds? If C2 equal to 0, then this will not be equal to 0. And if C2 is non-zero, we get the value of lambda as 5 by 2. So this is what our second eigenvalue. So first eigenvalue we get it as lambda 1 is equals to t by 2, and second one lambda 2 is equals to 5 by 2. Now what we have to do? We have to put all these values in our equations. What are the equations we obtained here are, the first equation what we obtained is C1 into 1 minus 2 lambda upon 3. Let me name it as say equation A. C1 into 1 minus 2 lambda upon 3. Similarly, we can have the another equation is the equation B. Okay. Now let us put up those values. Okay. Let me put for first C1 into 1 minus 2 lambda upon 3. The second equation is C2 into 2 lambda upon 5 equal to 0. Now first we will put up the value of lambda in this two equation. Then we will put the second value. C1 1 minus 2 upon 3. Value of lambda 1 is nothing but 3 by 2. Right. So what will happen? This 3 get cancelled, 2 get cancelled, 1 minus 1 equal to 0. So what will happen? If this term is 0, what will be the condition? C1 will be non-zero. That means C1 is one arbitrary constant. Okay, similarly, now after putting the value of a lambda 1 here, so what is the value of a lambda 1? It is 3 by 2. So these get cancelled with we have it is 5 minus 3, that will be nothing but 2 upon 5. So if these two terms equal to 0, which means that 2 upon 5 obviously not equal to 0, we get here it as a C2 0, right? So by using the condition of lambda 1, we are getting C1 non-zero and C2 equal to 0. So what is our equation? Y of x is equals to lambda x C1 plus lambda x square C2. Okay, the equation we have written here somewhere. Equation number 2 you can say. The equation 2, after putting up the value of lambda 1, we may say that it is y1 of x is equals to, what is the value of lambda 1 is 3 by 2, and x as it is. The value of a C1 is some arbitrary constant. Okay, and the value of a C2 we are getting it as a 0. So here you can write it 0. So here we get 3C1 by 2 into x. Is there any doubt up to this step? Y1 of x is equals to what we get the value. So here you can say it's 3C1 by 2. C1 is a constant, no? So this 3C1 by 2 you can name it as 1, or you can substitute the value of a C1 as a 2 by 3, right? C1 is some arbitrary constant, no? And hence we can say that y1 of x is equal to, assuming this to be 1, we get y1 of x is equal to 1. What do you mean by this? Corresponding to eigenvalue lambda 1 is equal to 3 by 2, we get the eigenfunction as x. Is there any doubt up to this step?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Let us go for the next one. What is the next case? Now we have to put up the value of a lambda 2 in both the equation A and B. Okay. Actually, first we'll complete this one and then we'll go for lambda 2. So after getting the value of y1 of x, what we have to find out? Firstly, we have to find out the phi1 of x. So phi1 of x is nothing but y of x or y1 of x divided by y1 of x its square dx integration minus 1 to 1 raised to 1 half. Okay. Actually, these are the things in our theorem. So we can write here as a y1 upon norm of y1. This is simply the value of a y1 upon norm of y1. What is the value of a y1 we have is x divided by the norm of this one we have to calculate as it is minus 1 to 1. Here it is x square dx, and here it is under root, right? X square dx within the limit minus 1 to 1. Let us evaluate the value of this. It will be nothing but, let me evaluate here somewhere, x cube upon 3 within the limit minus 1 to 1, right? So this will be nothing but 2 by 3, right? 2 by 3 and square root of this. So hence we get it is under root of 2 by 3. So which we can write it as root 3 by 2 into x. Correct? So here in this way we get the value of a phi1 of x as root 3 by 2 into x. Okay, result doesn't over here because still we have to work for non-homogeneous since we are finding assuming that f of x is 0. Okay, so now let us go for the next one. That means now we have to work same things for lambda 2. Okay, what is the value for lambda 2 is pi by 2. Putting value for lambda 2 in our equations A and B. So what are our equations? C1 into 1 minus 2 by 3 into lambda. Another one is C2 into 1 minus 2 by 5 into lambda equal to 0. C1 into 1 minus 2 by 3 value of a lambda is 5 by 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so here in this case we get it is 3 minus 5, that is nothing but minus 2 by 3. So product of these two is equal to 0. So this minus 2 by 3 is a non-zero term, so we can have C1 is 0. If you remember, in the first case, we were having the value of a C2 is 0, right? Here we get the value of a C2 0 in case of lambda 1, and in case of lambda 2, we get the value of a C1 is 0. So 1 minus 2 by 5, value of a lambda is nothing but 5 by 2. So here in the case of lambda 2, we get the value of a C2 is a some arbitrary constant. Okay. Now let us put up all those values in our equation 2. That is what our equation y of x is equals to lambda x c1 plus lambda x square c2. The value of a lambda is nothing but 5 by 2 x. The value of a c1 we got it as 0 plus x square. The value of c2 is some arbitrary constant, and hence we get it as 5 C2 upon 2 into x square. The value of this C2 we can substitute as a 2 by 5 because C2 is simply one constant, no? So after substituting the value of a lambda 2, we can say this is y2, and hence we can get the corresponding to lambda 2, we are getting the value of y2 is a x square. Okay, now we have to find out the normalized function, that is y2 is equals to y2 upon norm of y2. Okay, y2 is nothing but x square divided by integration minus 1 to 1 x square dx, right? And under root of this term. Sorry, here square should be then. What is the definition for norm is, let me write down here, y2 upon integration minus 1 to 1. Here is it is y square dx raised to 1 half. So y square means what? Already it is x square, so it should be x raised to 4. So what is the value of x raised to 4? The integration of x raised to 4 will be x raised to 5 upon 5 within the limit minus 1 to 1. So it will be nothing but 2 by 5. So here I can write directly x square upon 2 by 5 and this under root as it is. So we get the value of phi 2 is nothing but x square, and here it is under root 5 by 2. Any doubt up to this one? I hope no. Still you are not replying. So
No, ma'am.
let us go for the F1, F2. Okay, because we have to study the cases. What is F1? Integration minus 1 to 1 f of x into phi 1 of x dx. We have to calculate the value of F1 by now. Here we come to our non-homogeneous case. What is the value of f of x? We have is 1 plus x square. The value of phi 1 of x we have obtained is nothing but under root 3 by 2 into x, right? So by using the value of phi 1, let me evaluate f of f1 is under root 3 by 2 into x dx. So f1 is equal to under root 3 by 2 minus 1 to 1. Here it is x square plus 2x plus 1 into x dx. So equal to under root 3 by 2. Integration of these term we have to evaluate. Integration of x cube will be x raised to 4 upon 4 plus 2 into integration of x square is x cube upon 3 plus integration of x is x square by 2 within the limit minus 1 to 1 under root 3 by 2. Now let us put up the limit as it is even x raised to 4. 1 minus 1 will be 0. No, minus 1 raised to 4 will be 1. So this term is 0 plus 2 by 3 into this will be 1 minus minus 1, that will be into 2 plus again this term 1 square minus minus 1, it's a square. Square of minus 1 will be again plus 1 and 1 minus 1 will be 0. So in this way we get the value of f1 is nothing but root 3 by 2 into 4 by 3, right? Similarly, we have to find out the value of f2 by using our phi 2 and f of x. Now let us find out f2 is equals to integration minus 1 to 1 f of x into phi 2 of x dx. Let me put up the values of those functions. What is f of x? 1 plus x bracket square. Value of phi 2 of x we have calculated is काय होता phi 2 तुमचं?
X square.
Root 5 by 2 into x square. Right? Here we have the value of phi 2 is root 5 by 2 into x square. Okay. Again we have to solve this integration. The simple integration we can solve root 5 by 2 integration minus 1 to 1. Again it is 1 plus x square plus 2x into x square dx. Integration of x square will be nothing but x cube upon 3 plus integration of x raised to 4 is x raised to 5 upon 5 plus 2 into integration of x cube is x raised to 4 upon 4 within the limit minus 1 to 1. So this 1 minus minus 1 will be 2 by 3 plus next term again this will be 2 by 5 plus as it is even so it will be 0, right? Okay. Now we have to take an LCM so that we can solve this. बरोबर है ना x raised to
Yes, ma'am, it is right.
x square plus 2x plus 1. Okay, x cube, correct. Hmm. So here it is root 5 by 2 After taking the LCM, what will be the resultant one? It will be 15.
8 upon 15.
Correct. It is 8 upon 15. And hence here in this way we get the value of our F2. And then finally we have to write down the solution. That is y of x is equal to f of x plus lambda summation n runs from 1 to 2 because we get only 2 eigenvalues. Then it is fm upon lambda m minus lambda into phi m of x. Okay, what is the value of lambda? Initially we have original equation मध्ये जे value of lambda आहे. Okay. Here, what is the value of lambda here is 1. So now we have to use all those condition value of f1, f2, phi1, phi2, lambda 1, lambda 2, all these condition we have to use here. What is f of x? 1 plus x bracket square plus. Now after running the summation, what will be the resultant? It will be f1 phi1 upon lambda 1 minus lambda plus lambda is 1, so that's why I haven't written it. Again value of lambda is 1, so hence it is f2 into phi 2 upon, again it is lambda 2 minus lambda. What is the value of lambda is 1 plus what is the f1 we have obtained is, let me take value of f1 we have obtained is 4 by 3 into root 3 by 2. 4 by 3 into root 3 by 2. What is the value of phi 1 we have obtained? Is root 3 by 2 into x. Okay, 1 upon lambda 1 minus lambda. What is the value of lambda 1 is 2 by 3, 3 by 2 minus 1 plus what is the value of f2 we have obtained just now? It is nothing but 8 by 15 into root 5 by 2. Into value of phi 2 we have obtained root 5 by 2 into x square. Divided by lambda 2 minus lambda, that is nothing but 5 by 2 minus 1. You can simplify or rather you can put it as it is also. If you are going to simplify, what will be the resultant? 4 by 3 root 3 into root 3 by 2, that will be 3 by 2 and 1 upon 3 by 2 minus 1. What is the value of 3 by 2 minus 1?
1 by 2.
So it is root 5 by 2 multiplied, it will be again 5 by 2 x square divided by 5 by 2 minus 1. What is the value of 5 by 2 minus 1?
3 by 2.
Correct, 3 by 2. Is 1 plus x, it's a square plus these 3 get cancelled and this 2 get cancelled with this and it will be 2 and this 2 combining this it will be 4x plus 5 3s are 15, 2 4s are 8 and then we get it as 4 upon 3 into x square, again it is 2 by 3. So we get it combinedly as 8 by 9.
Ma'am, 16 by 9.
Is it 16 by 9? Okay. What will be this 3 by 2? We can write it as 2 by 3. Okay, fine. is what? 16 by 9 into x square. So finally we get the solution. Complete one lecture required for this. So you want to follow this method, you can follow, or you can go with the Redal integral equation non-homogeneous case that we have seen in the second unit second point. Okay.
Ma'am,
We'll solve more example in the next lecture. Yes, what you want to say?
ma'am, which unit is going on now?
Which second
Which
one?
unit? Chapter,
Second
which
one.
unit?
Chapter second unit, na?
Okay, ma'am.
You can left the meeting. I think the next lecture you have to join the next lecture.
Thank you, ma'am.